Hey everybody, Vilisink, I'm back and we have the new patch it's extremely interesting. So let's take a look, the new update that Plarium fucked up big time. So, there's a new boss guys features, blah blah blah, introducing a new feature that tells you all about the various bosses, how to beat them. Yeah, we don't care. What we are interested in is the champion balance changes. First of all, Tila speed increased from 87 to 93. 98 when ascended. Like, she's still shit, so it doesn't make a difference. I have one. I've used her. That's from experience. Skill 1 now has a 50% chance of stealing another random buff. If the target is under 2 or more buffs, I mean, that's just as crap as it was before. If there's no buffs, you can't steal any buffs. It doesn't make her any better. Pyre Strike, it's now a 3-turn cooldown. I mean, but it's a very underwhelming move. Now it places a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns every time. Not only when the attack is critical. I mean, that's good, but overall she's still a very poor champion. And she still sits in my vault, so from experience of using her in Faction Wars, I've used it in several places to try and justify that anybody else should use her, and there's no reasons. What she needs is AoE HP burn with an AoE provoke or something. Some type of control, something that makes her better. Because Tila, I mean, she needs a way bigger buff than that, guys. A way bigger buff. The resist in all battles, 50, she's still rubbish, so. Robar, one of the funniest champions in the game. Really, really good. Yeah, he used to just go mental and relentless. He would attack just crazy, crazy. And that's when he had 87 speed, but they've changed that now. His base speed is 97, which is a brilliant increase. That I like. Don't have Robar, but if you're going 87 to 97, that's really good. It's going to help your builds. You can now relax on the speed a little bit, focus HP or your crit stats, or whatever you want to focus on. Nice. Skill 3, Merciless Assault. Effect changed. Now deals more damage if the target is under Fear, True Fear, Freeze, Provoke, Sleep, or Stun. So it used to be Sleep, Stun, Freeze, but since then, Fear, True Fear, I believe, came into the game. Like Provoke potentially as well. So to throw that into his kit, it's quite nice. Gives him even more control. Sorry, not control, just more damage. Because yes, the game has evolved. We now have more debuffs. So updating his kit, making him faster. For Robar, I think that's actually really good. Plarium, you got one thing right out of your entire existence. You got one thing right. King Garog, skill 3 Gore Maker. Damage multiplier increased. There's been a few videos on King Garog as far as what he did before. People said he was underwhelming. He was kind of mocked. It's a shame because they mock a lot of the champions if they're free. People just say they're shit. You know, and some of the champions genuinely are pretty good. I think Garog getting his damage multiplier increased is actually very good for him because his passive is all about damage. If you look through his kit, what they've done here is potentially good for him, so I mean, he could have done a lot worse. Plarium will let you off with the Garog thing, Pixnail. So she now has attacks one enemy, 30% chance, not sure what it is when you book it. So 30% chance of placing Perfect Veil buff for a turn on an ally with the lowest HP. It just cannot place Perfect Veil on herself. Fair enough. The old version attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing Veil. So essentially, it's just more damage mitigation being the Perfect Veil. I think it's Veil not 7.5 or something, and Perfect Veil's like 15%. So they've made Pixnail just better as a support champion, looking after the comrades. So If you have Pixnail, that might work for you. I'm not sure how good she is in general though. Skill 4 is Frostweaver, and the chance of stealing the freeze buff increased from 50 to 20. It's a major increase that actually makes her way better. The chance of filling this champion's tournament by 25% increased to 35. Better. It will also remove any freeze debuffs from this champion at the start of every turn. So she now has a cleanse. I'm kinda speechless. What's her name again? Pixnail. You've made Pixnail a lot better. So I think if you're gonna, she's got a cleanse now. She's now got higher chance to increase turn meter, higher chance of stealing freezes. Yeah, I think could be a lot worse. Tomb Lord. So Tomb Lord before was kind of broken, but now Tomb Lord is OP. Capital letters OP. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, OP. So, skill 2, Death Burst. Duration of effect changed. Has a chance of placing poison debuffs on all enemies 2 turns instead of 1. Which is okay, except for, so I think it's when Tomb Lord had a 1 turn duration, if you were taking them into faction wars against the boss, you could put the poisons up, and then the poisons would do damage to the boss before the debuff swap. But if you're not using them in faction wars, this is actually very good. 2 turn poisons, and it's an AoE attack on all enemies. So yeah, you've just made Tomb Lord way stronger. Cooldown decreased from 6 to 5 turns on Blight, which is a very nice move as well. Or I changed. Now increases ally accuracy in Doom Tower by 70. Used to be ally defense. So as far as Doom Tower now goes, Tomb Lord, that's your crib. That's where you need to be. The poisons for 2 turns. The decreasing cooldowns, which is, I believe, decrease attack, decrease defense, is going to make him way better. Just an absolute monster. Also for faction wars, if you delay Death Burst, putting your poisons up, you'll now get them on 2 turns for the boss. So for Tomb Lord, you've done okay. Warchief, cooldown decreased from 4 to 3 turns on Marauder. Okay, I don't have Warchief, but I'm not sure what move that is either. Basilius Rowanus, skill 2, triple puncture damage, multiplier increased. Will now ignore increased defense, which I think he ignores shields and he ignores, I think, block damage. So to ignore increased defense is like pretty massive. Skill 3, damage multiplier increased. Chance of placing a stun increases to 75%. So when you book it, it should be 100. And that's pretty good. I've never used him. He was underwhelming. I know people that have him and they were never impressed. So it will be very interesting to see how Basilius can, if he can redeem himself. Maybe he can't, maybe he can, but we will find out. Crypt King Grawl is now just ridiculous. You can solo Spider 25 or 20. I believe it's Spider 25. They've got a 100% chance of placing decreased attack, 50% version, for 2 turns if the target is under HP burn or freeze. And he's now got an increased chance to place HP burn, so the synergy works quite nice, and he has a damage increase as well. Now, it went from 3 attacks at random, 50% chance to an AoE attack. People that have Crypt King Grawl, that's all they've ever asked for. Make it AoE. Yeah, excuse me. Make it AoE. The 3 times at random thing is just stupid. Doesn't matter which champion it is. 3 at random, 4 at random. It's just so stupid depending on where you're going. Bosses, Spider, whatever you want to take him. AoE is much better. Crypt King Grawl, I mean, check YouTube. People are doing some crazy stuff with him now. War Mother is just a a bomb specialist, so the increase in her attack is good. 1509, fantastic. Damage multiplier of bombs increased, nice. Duration of effect changed. Will now detonate after 2 turns instead of 3, so she's just more dangerous with special brew. And Mother's Touch now instantly detonates all enemy bomb debuffs. So by herself, if she's under an increased attack buff, she can be pretty good. If you put her with a second bomb champion, there could be some fireworks with that one. Grohak the Bloodied, my clan leader has him, and we were talking about this guy. And the cooldown going 4 to 3 turns is good. The weaken is good. Bloody tired, man. But the best thing is, I think, is the turn meter increase. 20% for every crit hit. So if you go into dungeons, you're going to be getting a lot of turn meter fill. That's pretty much it. The more he hits, the more he will increase turn meter. And I'm trying to think if it's actually a single or an AoE attack. I cannot remember that. But me and the clan leader were speaking about Grohak. He's doing good damage now. He's effectively filling his own turn meter, getting extra turns. So nice. Eurogrim, I'm just kind of salty. They destroyed him. I'm not happy. Why did you have to? I'm letting the saltiness fall off. Why touch Eurogrim? Come on now. It doesn't matter that he was kinda strong. There was so many ways you could have done this nerf. So many ways you could have done it. So he now loses 1 poison because he attacks twice, which is kind of crap because I've tested him since the patch went live. I've used him a few times and it's genuinely not the same. If you're lucky, you get 1 poison. You're not always guaranteed to get 2, even with accuracy. So Eurogrim being there for me is just a complete pain. I put resources into him like everybody else. If I knew this was coming, I would never have wasted 13 books. Cyrilla, Banana Jam, give me my fucking books back. Come on. A lot of players, there was events, guaranteed events, summoning events. You pushed people into getting Eurogrim. That's the only reason they popped voids. They wanted Eurogrim. And then after raking in everybody's money that they weren't going to spend, like, right, we can nerf him now. We've made enough money. We clearly don't care about the player base. We've made a fortune. Nerf him to the ground. He ain't going to be the same, and he's not the same. So Bizarre Vapors is now on a higher cooldown. And the 2 poison debuffs, again, you should have. There's many things that could have been done. And the fact that it's now 1 continuous heal really, really affects. Now, I've tested them in dungeons and clan boss just for damage and stuff. But if you're in dungeons or like Doom Tower, that 2 continuous heals was fantastic. It was such a good way of healing your teammates. Now that it's just 1 continuous heal, it's pitiful. You can now no longer duo Dragon 24. You can do Dragon 25, but it's very iffy. You know, there's just so many ways you could have nerfed Eurogrim, and I think you are backhanded, and I don't know. I'm quite salty with Eurogrim. A lot of people put resources into him. A lot of people actually pushed for him. Now, Geomancer. Geomancer is an interesting one. We could have a whole video for Geomancer. This Geomancer, up until this point, nobody knew. It was not stated, it was not said. Apparently, because you weren't sure whether you were going to do it in the first place, blah blah blah. We don't really believe you. Effectively, what you wanted to do, your plan was to shadow nerf Geomancer. That's what you wanted to do. You wanted to shadow nerf Geomancer. Just like Vogoth, you wanted to shadow nerf him. And then he ended up doing 2 billion damage, 1 billion damage. And I seen it, a few of my clanmates had 2 billion damage from a key. Like turn count 8, that had like 400 million. It was ridiculous, even more. So it backfired, they blew up in your face. And it goes to show that you can actually fix things, because they fixed this pretty quick. Within a couple of hours, they had it fixed. So whether you did plan Geomancer or not, no, I think you should have actually told people. This should have been stated. Again, people use resources, they use chickens, they use books. And a lot of people, because his damage is affected, he ain't going to do the same damage, just ignoring defense. War Master procs, Giant Slayer procs, they're way bigger. You've crippled this guy's damage. And yes, he did maybe 30 mil damage in a budget unkillable. Therefore, your comp could do like 50 million a key. Who cares? He's a strong epic. Leave him alone. You shadow nerfed him. It bit you in the ass. And then you fixed it. And then you were saying, oh yeah, but this and that, this and that. Effect added. Damage from this skill no longer triggers masteries. Yeah, that's the bit that messed his damage up. Ignoring defense is not the same. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he does now. People that put resources into Geomancer are going to regret it. Just like Eurogrim, you fucked up big time. It's just a slap in the face to people. You're making a mockery of your community that for some reason plays this bloody game, gives you money. You had an event, you pushed the Geomancer, just like Eurogrim. You had some of the events, you had guaranteed events. People popped shards to get him. Then what happens? You shadow nerf him, he goes crazy, does 2 billion damage. Then you come out and saying, oh, there's been a issue here, an issue there, we're going to fix it, blah blah blah. No, you tried to shadow nerf him, you fucked up, it bit you in the ass. And it kind of exposed flaws in your game, because now we know you can fix problems. Now we know you can fix issues. No, just like the ×3 speed you said was not possible. Bullshit, because it is. We've seen it, it's possible. So let's have a look. Effect added. When deflecting damage has a 60% chance of dealing additional damage equal to 4% of the champion's max HP. Can occur once per enemy attack. If there are multiple champions in the team with a skill, only one will activate. 60% chance of dealing additional damage. Now, I don't know what this does, because I was, again, speaking to someone earlier on about Eurogrim, and I was thinking, when I first looked at Geomancer, I had the same idea of how does this affect affinity. So down below, tell me, did you have Geomancer? Did you put anything into him? Are you now disappointed? How does that affect your clan boss team and all? I'm really interested to hear some feedback regarding Geomancer, because they messed up big time. They messed up. They tried to shadow nerf him, they tried to pull the wool over our eyes, and it messed up big time. So Palladium, it's another slap in the face to the very, very loyal community that you've got. I'm so happy I'm not pulling shards right now. I can save a lot of shards, and as far as I'm concerned, you can stick them all up your ass. If you're going to affect champions, you're going to have events where people spend money, and in a very quick period of time, you're going to change things, nerf a champion. You're going to say, oh, but we need to make sure the game's balanced, or we need to make sure our vision of the game is what it is. That's ridiculous. You're just not happy that we've got some cool toy to play with. That's all it is. You want us to have nothing fun, and that's your problem. So the champion and battle fixes are: we fixed some cycling issues that occurred with certain passives. With Geomancer's passive skill, yes, because you fucked up. We've adjusted the AI usage of Septimus' Ascended Behead skill. I'll have to check that out. I do have Septimus, Calvalax's Corruption, Rorik, I've got him, but he isn't leveled yet. Champions who hit diagonally, place targets no longer do it from the side in the pre-boss rounds in the Ice Golem's Peak. Okay, whatever. The game no longer freezes when Achak, the Vendrin, and Cisia Flametongue battle against the spider. Good. If there was a flaw there, nice to see that you actually fixed it. Fixed a bug that caused buff and debuff icons to be displayed incorrectly in battle. Again, if there is a bug that had to be fixed, nice. Fixed a bug that caused reaction accessories to work incorrectly when equipped on Duchess Lilitu. I mean, if there's a bug, good. Or maybe Duchess is the next champion that you think to yourself, she's really strong. Maybe we should fuck up Duchess. You know? Fixed a bug that meant you couldn't tap directly onto the Fire Knight to target him on several devices. Yeah, I mean, go auto if you've got a decent enough team. You wouldn't really... That's not something that's actually that interesting. Added 300 more slots to artifact and accessories. More room for stuff, I suppose. Can't complain, but it's going to cost you probably 400 million to buy that slots. The purchase button is now disabled when there are not enough materials to craft. But it was not like that before. Fix an issue that occurred on some players' accounts when completing the finish in one. I never took that quest, to be fair, but fair enough. I fixed a bug that caused clan quests to count ascending champions as getting new champions. I mean, you playtest this. You're releasing a game with flaws, and then suddenly it's a big deal because you're fixing it. No, it's like, come on, fix your bloody game. Give us something that's solid. And stop making fucking excuses. Fix an error that occurred when changing save team presets in Doom Tower. Fixed a bug that caused your save team setup to reset after replaying and losing. Fixed an error that occurred when there was not enough energy for the next battle. In multi-battle mode when super raids were enabled. And as they say, that's everything we've got for you. We hope these balance changes will make a big difference. Yeah, they fucking will. Like, I'm proper salty. And I think the Geomancer thing was backhanded. I think that you tried to do it slyly. I think you tried to just do it like Vogoth. I think you just tried to do it where nobody would be able to see it. Even if it gets us not talking about Eurogrim anymore, but trust me, I'm going to talk about Eurogrim. I wasted time putting books in him. I wasted time ascending him. I wasted chickens on him. I wasted energy. I wasted my life on him. So I'm still going to talk about him. But if we forget Eurogrim and the fact that Geomancer, you basically fucked up on Geomancer, Grohawk the Bloodied is a very nice change. He's actually a fantastic champion. War Mother, nice changes. Crypt King Grawl is now not a Vault champion. Basilius, I'm pretty sure we're going to see more people with content on that champion. Same as Warchief. Tomb Lord is now even more OP. He's just a scary mother. Pixdale is... Time will tell. King Garog, I'm interested to see how he works. Robar, fantastic. Telag Gormain, well, Telag Gormain is like a chocolate watch on a sunny day. Pointless. But that's the update. I mean, some of the stuff is pretty good. They expose some flaws in their game. They try to do some backhanded stuff, but nonetheless, there were changes made. Guys, stick comments below. what's your overall thoughts on it? Your overall thoughts on Eurogrim, Geomancer, and pretty much anything that you think about it. Stick it down below. I'll be sure to reply. Stay safe, keep on reading, guys, and I'll see you next time.